welcome to another Assorted Crackers podcast. I'm Eric, and I'm here with Lee and Wilson, and we are also here with a very special guest, Harold Graeter. I'm going to give you a quick overview of his bio, and when you hear this, maybe you'll get a sense of what we're going to be talking about today. So Harold has served as Associate Executive Director at the AutoZone Liberty Bowl since 1998. Did I get that right?
That's right.
But he's been around the Memphis sports scene, guys, since 1983 when he joined the sports department at WMC TV, Channel 5, as an intern and eventually did work his way up to sports director at the station. So I promise you we'll be picking on those stories. I also want to brag on you a little bit, just a few of the awards and chairmanships. He is currently chairman of the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame. He's currently president of the Memphis chapter of National Football Foundation and College Hall of Fame, and you're past chairman of Memphis Tourism. Did I get anything wrong?
Those are all accurate. Hard to believe that those people put me in those positions.
Was there an Emmy in there too?
There is a regional Emmy back in the old Action News 5 days.
Drop that regional thing. It's just an Emmy.
It's just an Emmy.
Yeah.
That's the way Lee would handle it.
I mean, it's not lying.
So, welcome, Harold. We're really happy to have you.
We're glad to be here with you guys. Thanks for the invitation.
Absolutely. So, Lee tends to ask a lot of questions. He'll try to dominate the conversation. Wilson and I are going to try to get in as we can, but go ahead, Lee. We're going to wind you up and turn you loose.
Here we go. So, quick rapid fire.
Yeah.
All right. You lived in Memphis for a long time. Tell me about your family.
We're from Texas originally.
Right.
My sister and I were the only grandkids out of a very, very large family, only grandkids that did not grow up in the state of Texas. We grew up here in Memphis. My dad was with Colgate.
Okay.
Got transferred here. I had just had my 5th birthday. And we're moving from Mobile, Alabama. We went Houston, Mobile, Memphis.
Okay.
And my sister's 3.5, 4 years older than me. And my recollection, this is January of 67, and it had snowed the week we were moving from Mobile to Memphis. And obviously, my sister being a little bit older, she had obviously memories from living in Houston. So moving from the coast to Memphis and snow is like, what is this stuff?
Yeah.
So that was our introduction to Memphis, Tennessee, January of 67. But so this has been our home since then. My dad had some opportunities to move within the company, but being from Texas, his attitude was, "This is as far north as we're going. We're not going to St. Louis or any of these other places north of here that he was offered opportunities." So my dad chose to make Memphis home. So my sister and I grew up here. Went to Emmanuel Lutheran Church and elementary school, which, as my life story goes, ties into how I got into broadcasting. We can delve into that.
Yeah.
1980 graduate of Christian Brothers High School, went to what was then Memphis State, now University of Memphis, and that led to this path down the road in the world of sports, first in television, then now as an Associate Executive Director of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl.
Fantastic.
Harold we've had only 3 guests on the show, and you're the second Memphis State / University of Memphis guest. Just throwing that out there as a bit of tidbit. So 2/3 of our guests, Memphis State, University of Memphis.
You also have a little bit of something in common with our first guest, Wilson's dad, who was on the Liberty Bowl committee.
The hospitality committee. That's
right.
Really?
Yes, yeah. He was. I think his last year was Bear Bryant's last game.
82.
And so he was an Alabama graduate, so that was the pinnacle of all that. But he loved it. And so I think he saw LSU was here one year, Georgia. But anyway, he loved being a part and helping and, getting to meet coaches and whatnot. So it was. So anyway, I do have a question about that. How does someone get involved? Do y'all still do that at the Liberty?
Absolutely.
So how does someone get involved if they just love college football? And it doesn't matter who's playing. How can they help you out in the city and all of that?
Sure. We're very small staffed. There are only 5 of us. So we are volunteer driven. Of course, every one of our events has its own separate committee, led by a staff member, but to make the event come off, to execute the event, we heavily rely on volunteers. So if you're interested, give us a call.
Okay.
Drop me an email. Glad to do that. We're always looking for folks who want to get involved because it's a never-ending process. Folks move away, lose interest, whatever it might be. We're always looking for folks that are college football fans, want to be involved. A particular event kind of piques their interest. We have folks that are volunteer that may not necessarily be college football fans, but they like the event, whether it's our gala or rodeo or the parade, any of those events that lead up to the game. We're the doors are always open at the AutoZone Liberty Bowl.
That's awesome.
So if you love Memphis,
you should participate.
You should
Absolutely.
jump in and do something.
Absolutely.
I mean, so while we're talking about the Liberty Bowl and where you are now, I mean, your current job at the Liberty Bowl, tell us about that and how difficult. I heard you speak at another event one time, and you shared the story of, my goodness, how do you sell a product?
Right.
That you don't know what it is until 30 days.
Yeah, and that's the reality of it. My title is Associate Executive Director. Means I wear a lot of different hats. Obviously, with my background, PR, marketing, all of that falls under me, media relations. But the core and the emphasis day in, day out is the true business side of it, and that's corporate sponsorships. Mm-hmm. As we all know, it's the dollars that make the engine run, right? Whether you're on the college athletic side now with NIL and all of that stuff.
Oh, we can't wait.
It's all about generating revenue. The two football teams that come to Memphis in December, one from the SEC, the other from the Big 12, they don't just show up because they want to go watch the Ducks at the Peabody.
Right.
We have to write a hefty check to their respective conferences to have those teams come to Memphis. But that's the business side of it. So we are always daily, that is my emphasis, is getting out and about, seeing current sponsors, looking for new sponsors to generate that revenue. To have the football, ultimately, just to have the football teams come to town. Now, that's oversimplifying things, but obviously we have all of the other events that we alluded to before, and the staff and everything we do. You got to have the revenue to do all of that.
So you open the door, and I'm going to walk through it. The whole shifts that are happening, titanic shifts in college football, NIL, transfer portal, and then obviously now the 12-team playoffs, which has really changed the footprint and the dynamic for all the bowls. What's your take on that, and what are you doing to make sure that we stay relevant with the Liberty Bowl here in Memphis through these changes?
Eric, those are great questions, and it's very timely. Let's start with the playoff, the current state of college football. We just went through the first year of the expanded playoff of 12 teams. 2025 is the last year of the current contracts for the playoff, for the CFP, college football playoff, and the rest of the bowl games. So the process is beginning to start for the next round, the next phase of postseason college football. We'll be interacting with the SEC and the Big 12. We anticipate sometime this spring as to what the future will look like, the next 6 years, starting in 2026. But it all starts at the top of the food chain, which is the college football playoff. And we all expect the playoff to expand probably to 14. 16 teams have been discussed, but we think more likely it's going to be 14. So that's the first piece of it. Then the second piece of that is, what about the on-campus games?
Yes.
Having playoff games on campus. Mm-hmm. That was a new element to the expanded 12-team format. First-round games were on campus. One of our great concerns, and I was just in Tampa recently and had a chance to visit with my friends at what used to be known as the Outback Bowl, now the ReliaQuest Bowl. All of us at our tier of bowl games, we're concerned that the decision may be made to put all of the playoff games on campus. And that would be a huge move, that would translate that all of the traditional New Year's Day games, what we all know now as the New Year's Six games, that's the Rose, the Cotton, the Sugar, down that line, that theoretically, if that were to happen, that they would be removed from the playoff.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
That's not something I've contemplated.
And if that happens, for those of us in that upper middle tier of bowl games, that would push us down.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
And so if we're at, if we go from 12 to 14, so that's obviously 2 more teams, and where does that fit into the mix? What do the powers that be, and that translates to the SEC and the Big Ten, and that's not a shot at them, that's just the reality of it. They are the two big guys, and they are ultimately going to make the decisions for the future of college football and postseason college football. So those are a couple of the key pieces for now that we're keeping an eye on. Is it going to expand? Yeah, it's going to expand. And then, but what about this on-campus piece? We're obviously in favor of keeping teams playing in bowl games,
Right.
just because of the dynamics of what does that do to all the games down the line. We're appreciative of the work that's being done at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium, renovation that's going to be a real needle mover, not just for us, but the University of Memphis.
When is that going to happen?
That is it's scheduled to be ready in time for the 26th season.
Okay.
Oh.
So we still have the 25 University of Memphis season and our bowl game in December to get through construction. But we're excited about that. It's much needed. At our game we just played in December of 24, 2 of the top officials with the SEC were here, along with one of the top officials with the Big 12. They came. Some of that's routine. Usually you have someone from the conference office come to your game. But in the case of the SEC, Commissioner Sankey has been to our game. But knowing what's coming, what 2025 is bringing with contracts expiring, new negotiations for the future, to have 2 of the top officials with the SEC at our game. We knew they were here to check us out, talk about the expansion, see what the vision is there, see the dynamics of a renovated stadium. So it's game on. And this goes to the next piece of that question of we're going to be ready. 2025, this is the 67th, we will have the 67th AutoZone Liberty Bowl. The game
That's awesome.
founded in 1959, Philadelphia, moved to Memphis in 1965. Been a part of the fabric of our community all these many years. So we're going to be ready. We're going to be prepared. We know there is going to be stiff competition, not just with the bowl games that are currently partners with the SEC and the Big 12. But on the SEC side, we fully anticipate at least one other bowl game, if not 2, jumping into the middle of that. One of them, we think, is going to be the Alamo Bowl in San Antonio. They play at the Alamo Dome. They've had some major renovations to the stadium. They've added some suites, all of that in preparation for hosting the Final Four this year. So their indoor dome stadium, and San Antonio is a great destination.
It's a good city.
It's a good city.
So, and they do a great job with how they run their bowl games. Those folks are, their staff, very similar to ours, like our friends down in Tampa. We've all been in the game now 20, 25 years. We're friends. We've come up together in the business. So they do a nice job down there. But with Texas and OU coming to the SEC, You have San Antonio there. They have been
They'd love that.
They've been a Big 12, Pac-12 bowl game. Well, there is no Pac-12.
Right.
And with the addition of OU and Texas to the SEC, naturally, San Antonio's sitting there, hey, we want to be a part of the SEC bowl.
Well, sure. And the regional ties is how you bring in fans.
Yes.
You want to fill those seats. And if it's a 2-hour drive, I'm much more likely to go versus the 8-hour drive to Tampa from Memphis in my case.
So we know that the SEC, when the decision makers, the presidents and the athletic director and the commissioner and the senior staff of the SEC, so when they ultimately sit down to really bring this back, they're going to sit down, look at their list of potential bowl cities, the current bowl partners, which includes us, and maybe one or two others, San Antonio, there may be someone else out there. Ultimately, they're going to say, okay, where do we want to go? Mm-hmm. What cities do we want to be partners with? What bowl games do we want to be partners with? Now, more SEC teams have played in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl than any other conference.
That's interesting.
And we have been official by contract bowl partners with the SEC since 2006. So there's a history there. We think our geographic location makes perfect sense, but we know ultimately it's a business. So when on the business side, we're going to be ready, we're going to be prepared, we're going to be ready to be competitive to whatever that number is. We're going to be there for the fight. But that's where the Memphis community and the support of the Memphis corporate community comes in.
Mm-hmm. So two things. And when you think about that, what's the economic impact of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl?
Traditionally, we have said, 15 to 20 million. Mm-hmm. Now, we recognize, obviously, the stadium capacity has been reduced over the last few years. So, naturally, there's going to be a correlating reduction. But, the AutoZone Liberty Bowl.
But those suites are going to bring in.
Yeah, from a revenue standpoint, you bet. But just the raw number of how many folks can you accommodate and bring to the city, that number has been reduced. And we're going to have to adjust to that new reality. The University of Memphis now owns Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. The city of Memphis transferred ownership this past year as a part of the stadium renovation and the funding of the renovations. So we know that based on the latest statements from the university, the capacity is going to be in the 44 to 46,000 range. We had always hoped that it would be closer to 50, but it is what it is. We can't impact that. So we'll deal with that.
Well, and that's nothing to sneeze at, by the way.
No, it's not.
When you think about that, whether that economic impact is reduced, the people coming into this town and staying in the hotels and eating Gibson's donuts and all the things we do when we have out of towners, we got to keep them coming. I mean, it's super important to this city and it's super important to this region.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for that. And we think it is. That's part of the motivation of why we go to work every day. Of what are we doing here? What's the why behind going to work each day at the AutoZone Liberty Bowl? And it's not just about the economic impact, and that's important because we know that local government needs those tax dollars. We have many, many needs in our community, and in a very small way, we help that by putting on our little football game once a year.
Absolutely.
But it's not just the economic impact; it's the platform on ESPN,
the media dollars
to share the message, and we have multiple messages that we focus on. Obviously, the community. And the good things that are going on here. And guys, I got to tell you, not a lifelong Memphian, as we said. I'm not a native, but
you might as well. You've been here since you were 5.
I'm a Memphian.
We'll call you.
And I chose to make my life here and have my family here. So Texans are hardcore. I'm a Texas guy, but I'm a Memphian.
No doubt.
Proud to be a Memphian. So not to get too far down the road. So we have at the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, we use the national telecast on ESPN to share the good news of Memphis, highlight the good things, the positive messages, and obviously St. Jude is our charitable partner.
Here.
Yeah.
And this past year, we had outstanding TV numbers. That's important to our friends at AutoZone, our title sponsor. And of the games of the I was going to say BCS. That's going way back. Of the non-CFP games, we were the third most watched game.
That's awesome.
Of the 28 non-CFP games. And when you look at the other games and events in Memphis in 2024, we were the most viewed game or event emanating from Memphis.
That's great.
Our audience was
bigger than the Grizz.
4.8 million. Was the peak audience. 4.2 was the average, and no other game or event had that kind of a number. So we're proud of that piece.
You should be.
And ultimately, again, it's sharing the news and the message of Memphis. And we like to focus and want to focus on the positives that day in, day out often get overlooked in our city in local media.
Is there a happy I'm going back to double click on the having games on campus and having bowls and how
right.
that was really interesting. Thank you for sharing that a minute ago, because I had not thought through that. But is there a happy medium where there can be some on campus games? Because I'm sure that's the universities love to have another home game on their schedule, because that's more money to them.
Right. Happy medium, I don't know. I'm a bowl guy, so I'm all about having
I get it.
The games in bowl games. But we know that horse has left the barn.
Could that change the date?
We'll see how that impacts the calendar.
Mm-hmm.
Good question. I think those of us in the bowl world would more easily accept having first round games on campus, because that's the new model. But if you go to the next round of games where you're eliminating those traditional, what we know as New Year's games, New Year's Six games, that's a totally different proposition.
Yeah.
And just in talking to folks in our world, the big guys, they are the biggest of the big. I mean, he doesn't get any bigger than the granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl.
Right.
And then those other New Year's Six games, when those folks are concerned about their future and where they're going to fit into the mix, big red flag for the rest of us. Like, holy cow, what's coming?
Well, I know that is I think back to all the years of watching football. I mean, you get excited. I mean, that's the day that you're going to catch games. New Year's Eve, you're going to catch games. I mean, it's like you plan your holiday season around those events. So I would hate to see that happen. And I know that you guys are working hard to try to do your best to put the right plan in place.
Well, and I think too, Memphis being such an SEC town.
Yeah, the regional connection.
The regional connection. It doesn't matter if it's UT, Arkansas, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Georgia. I mean, there's fans here, and you will always have SEC support, which is huge.
Can't help but notice you skipped over Alabama there, Wilson.
Well,
his father went to Alabama, for context.
Well, my youngest child, our daughter, is a senior at Alabama.
Oh.
So between out-of-state tuition and sorority fees, the University of Alabama, and with our ties back, as I said, way back, having lived in Mobile a little bit, certainly for me, I'm a Tiger. I'm a Memphis Tiger, but team number 2 for me is the University of Alabama. So, there's more there in my personal story too. But
did that give you a discount?
I recognize that.
They didn't give you in-state for being there when you were 5?
Unfortunately, no. There was no legacy discount there.
So you mentioned, let's shift gears a little bit.
Yeah.
You mentioned you're a Tiger first. I'm seeing the leaping tiger logo on your vest. Let's shift gears to basketball. What's happening, Harold? What's going to happen with the team this year? Where do you see them seated? How far do you think they're going to go?
Obviously, as we have this show, it's been a rocky week for the Tigers.
Yes.
I was fortunate enough to be with the team in Tampa for the South Florida game. It was one of those, it's like, wow, we could actually go to a game and not have to sweat it out to the last couple of minutes. Then they stubbed their toe in a big way at Wichita State. I like this team. I like the way Penny is coaching this team. I think ultimately just got to keep them focused. and I hate to say it sound trite, but it's that one game at a time. But keep the focus from game to game to game. They can't get out over their skis. But I like, compared to last year's team, I like this team a whole lot more. I like the mix of personalities. We haven't had any drama with this bunch, and I think that will continue.
That's important.
I think Penny did a really nice job of recruiting talent, but also recruiting a better fit of player.
Yeah, the chemistry looks better on the court. You can feel that.
Yes.
And listen, we're all Ole Miss guys. We've got one of the better teams we've had in a while, and they have a quality win over us.
Yeah,
early.
That was a good one.
So, what do you think? I'm putting you on the spot.
You know, I thought the Tigers might have a shot at a 4 or 5 seed when that first bracketology came out last week, and they weren't in the top 16. And then comments were made by the chairman of the committee, Bubba Cunningham, our friend who's the AD at North Carolina. I'm guessing that the Tigers may have been a 5, but more likely a 6.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it is what it is, and just go play.
Well,
just go play.
That's right. If you can
do your job and go play the game.
Yeah, if you get all bent out
in front of you.
Yeah, you want the best seed you can get, but just go play.
Yeah.
Because when it's tournament time, you never know what switch is going to get flipped.
That's right.
And that's when I want to focus on game to game. And I've heard more experienced coaches. And I've learned this, and I agree with this approach of ultimately it's about the matchup. So you're going to get the team you're going to get as an opponent. Ultimately, it's about, for me, in my evaluation of it, it's about the matchup of who you're playing and how do you match up with that team. And, skill level, Auburn's really impressive. I think they are rightfully the best team in the country.
Yeah.
Good.
They put a whooping on the Tigers.
They're
right?
okay. They're okay.
They're pretty good. They're pretty good. But for the Tigers,
1 through 10.
it's for me, it's getting back to the tournament. And as a fan, alum, donor, my hope, expectation is to get to the second weekend.
Okay.
Let's get in,
Yep.
win a couple of games. That would be massive,
And then
progress for this program.
Agree.
Gets it going again, and then you go from there.
So, Lee, what I heard Harold predict just now was Final Four. Is that what you heard? I may have been distracted. I think I heard him say this
I'm
team's
not
going
going
to
to
the
put
Final
words
Four.
in Harold's mouth at all. I mean, I think it's been proven not just in basketball, but home court advantage, home field advantage is a big thing. And what you
Absolutely.
said is spot on. Be a fan, show up.
And one other point to tag with that, Lee, is this is one of my new missions. Hasn't caught traction yet, but it's a point of irritation for me as a Tiger person.
Okay.
Is the home field. This is the Tiger side of the stadium, and that's the visitor side of the stadium. And I don't want to sit on the quote-unquote other side. Here's the reality. And again, after the last 4 years of going to Alabama games with our daughter being down there, that reminded me of, what it's all about from a fan standpoint.
Will they allow visitors to come in?
So, yeah, exactly.
All 15 or 20 of them.
My point, and one of my missions with Tiger fans, as we move through this renovated stadium, it's going to be exciting in 26 when it's all done, all fresh, all new excitement, new energy around the program, and we think hopefully also around the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. But here's the deal. And I'm talking to my fellow Tiger people. The west side of the stadium has always been known as, that's the Tiger side. That's our side. The east side that's the visitor side. The entire stadium is the Tiger side.
Harold is fired up,
visitors
folks.
only get a few seats
in
a corner.
Yep.
The entire stadium is ours.
Preach.
Mic drop.
Amen.
Fill it up. Wear your blue. Root for the Tigers.
Have fun.
Let's go.
I had 3 children go to TCU, and the first time I went to TCU to watch them play, the student section is behind the visitor bench.
Yes.
I mean, and my kids just ate it up. I mean, just yelling at the players and the whole. I mean, how awesome is that? And then and the opposing fans are in the upper deck.
Yep.
With the band, I mean, you can barely hear the band. So I mean, you got to make the stadium yours, not.
Yeah. Absolutely.
When I mentioned LSU, you go to Death Valley as a visitor, you're going to sit in the top of the nosebleed, and the angle of those seats, it's like 90 degrees. It feels like you're about to fall down the steps.
Sometimes they let you sit right below them so they can throw.
They can throw bottles at you. That's true.
They do that at LSU?
I may have experienced that in 1990.
I think they passed a law that they can't do it anymore.
They don't care.
Whatever. Who enforces it?
It's like the cowbells, right?
So
ring responsibly.
Ring responsibly. Yeah. Well, folks, if you want to learn a little bit more about Harold's background, you're all over the place, but I think the biggest thing we can do now is continue to promote the Liberty Bowl. I think
get involved with the Liberty Bowl.
If you've got an opportunity to volunteer, they could use your help.
Absolutely.
We want this bowl to be as successful as it's been in its past 75 years.
This is year 67 for us.
We want the next 60 years to be just as successful.
Thank you for that. We need the support now more than ever. Stand up for one of our community's great institutions. Mm-hmm. We know you don't owe us your support. We're asking for your support, and we need it now more than ever. So thank you.
Here,
absolutely.
All right. Well, as always, if you want to reach out and pitch ideas, if you want to tell us what we maybe got wrong today, send us an email at
3assortedcrackers@gmail.com.
And we need you to follow us on Instagram because we love to share stories and pictures on Instagram, and you can find us at
3 Assorted Crackers.
That's 3 Assorted Crackers. It's not that hard, folks. All right. Harold, thank you again for your time. We will go ahead and sign off. But before we do, I just want to remind our listeners to don't be afraid to try new flavors.
And don't go stale.
Hear, hear.
Farts are funny, though.
Farts are always funny.
Okay.